Our bread and butter is trout fishing, and our preferred method to trout fish is without a doubt sight fishing. Whether it's watching a trout rise to a dry fly or seeing them, observing their behavior, and then fishing a nymph or something to them, for us, we just want to see that fish eat the fly. We just want to see it and have that visual experience. So as we thought about where would be the ultimate place for us to go and do something new, get out of our comfort zone, we decided that the Seychelles fishing for GT is the ultimate way. And just knowing how much correlation there is between the style of trout fishing that we do and the way that you fish for these giant trevally bonefish and other species that are there really appealed to us. And that first day we went out with our guide Matt and we just saw this little flash. GT was destroying some bait fish, and I made a cast right in there, strip, and just out of nowhere this GT just comes and destroys my fly, and just stripping into that and coming tight on that fish and feeling how powerful it was insane.
The Seychelles are a group of atolls and islands that are in the middle of the Indian Ocean, east of Africa, and the atoll that we fished on is Astove.
It obviously joins up in the Aldabra chain. It is one of the more unique ones because we have an inner lagoon system. The outer areas of Astove, just the coral ridges and what have you, make it a brilliant fishery. And one of the most unique things about Astove is our western wall. Its biodiversity is in amongst probably the best in the world. So just from that perspective, you know, Astove is a pretty awesome place to be.
The beauty of Astove was just unreal. Just the color of the water, the clarity of the water was just unbelievable.
I took about an hour out of our fishing and I went and snorkeled, and just seeing all the life on those untouched coral reefs and how many fish actually live there was probably the highlight of the whole trip for me.
GTs for me personally are magnificent creatures. Just the way they come up after the fly, especially if he eats the fly right at the rod tip, eyes squinting, gills flared, big mouth. It really is something epic to see.
GTs are just the fastest thing I've ever seen, you know, fishing. You have not seen speed until you hook into a GT. It's crazy, like holding on to a 12 or a 14 weight rod, you know, watching it bend in the cork and feeling like that fish is in complete control, which it is, you know, for the most part, and just feeling like that fish is literally gonna rip that rod out of your hands. It's just such a cool experience. It's unreal.
You'll see some giants out there. It's like buses, like
complete like double-decker buses coming towards you, breaking teasers, sometimes eating the teaser before you can even start teasing, reeling. There's some awesome eats on there as well. Head out the water, eyes out the water, chasing a teaser all the way to the boat and not eating the fly. Makes a man goes down on his knees, eh?
We went out and fished poppers. You're just chugging that popper along, and all of a sudden, a freaking Volkswagen comes out of the ocean and explodes on your fly. And I mean, they're spraying water 10 feet in the air. They're spinning like 180s if they miss it, coming back and hitting it again. And it is the most high adrenaline, fast-paced fishing on the planet.
I wish I would have had that in slow-mo.
Sometimes when you're cruising around looking for GTs, a really good thing to look for are rays. Those GTs hang right behind the rays, or actually right on them sometimes. And as the rays are moving, feeding, kicking up dirt, they're scaring off bait fish and shrimp and other things. And those GTs sit right behind them and just grab anything that comes off them. And sometimes you won't see the GT. So when you're cruising around, you might look for a ray and just throw a cast right behind it, and out of nowhere, a GT will just rip out of a dust cloud or something and freight train your fly. And it happens so fast, it almost scares the crap out of you.
They're awesome fish, they eat so mad, they're wild. It's just a hell of a fish to catch. The explosion, they eat right at the rod tip, which can be awesome to see. Even get your glasses wet sometimes when he comes and boils. They're one awesome fish to target, eh?
That's a really good fish. Corky! Dude!
Oh, dude. That's a big one, too, for...
Dude, that's nice, dude.
Good job.
Hey, Court. How was that, dude?
It was so sweet, dude. Oh my gosh.
Tell me what happened.
They're like a freight train coming in. It's like everything happens in less than 2 seconds. You throw it, and they freaking just go ballistic. And I mean, next thing you know, you gotta clear your fingers so they don't get broken off by your knob.
But gosh, dude, that was a good fish for in here. I'm so stoked.
It's awesome.
If I was a GT, I'd want to eat it just because it'd be like a weird, dude, I just ate a weird fish. It had an eyeball.
At Astove, there's kind of land around the inside of this big lagoon. The lagoon's filled with water, and every day as the tide comes up, it pushes water into the lagoon, and then when the tide goes out, all that water drains, and it all drains through one narrow spot. So we were kind of fishing that pinch point, and Derek had just landed a nice GT, and I had actually was getting some video of it, and I had a big wave come that I wasn't watching, and of course we ruined the camera. And it was just a few minutes later, and I tied on a big streamer and just bombed a blind cast out into the channel, and my biggest GT of the whole trip just came flying up, blew up on the surface through the fly, and then it was just off to the races, and it was just headed for the ocean, and we ended up landing it. Unfortunately, we didn't have our nice camera because I had just dunked it, but we did have a GoPro, luckily, to shoot a little footage and get a couple pictures of that fish because it was just unreal.
Yeah, dude!